Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing the deets on how I started my consulting business. Every single thing I did during the process, getting clients, the mistakes I made along the journey, and what I have learned so far. So if this is your first time watching any of my consulting videos, I have an actual video where I shared about 2 years ago where I shared how to start a consulting business and how to find the right clients for your consulting business. So if you haven't watched any of those videos, just pause and go watch those first and then come back and then now understand what it takes to actually run a consulting business. So the first thing I'm going to be discussing is why I actually started a consulting business. If you're a subscriber, you already know that several businesses I've been able to get my hands dirty in. I had a lot of people reach out to me and ask me for advice on how to start their business, how to take the next step in elevating or growing their businesses. And I always gave this advice for free. It wasn't until about 3 years ago when I started my YouTube journey that I realized that a lot of people are actually making moolah from giving advice on businesses. So I'm like, okay, well, why not? Especially during the pandemic, a lot of people did not have an idea what was going on in the world. A lot of people were trying to figure out how to make money from their homes. And I decided to offer 1 or 2 advices here and there to potential clients, and they seemed to like it a lot. I advised them on how to portray a very good brand or brand image for their business, how to scale their businesses, and how to improve their social media marketing. A lot of people were very interested in this, especially like my mom and her friends. A lot of them are not tech savvy. No bash to my mom. A lot of them are not tech savvy, so they needed advice and help, and they paid for my services. Mind you, this was during the pandemic where a lot of people were not working. So trying to make as much money as you could while working from home was the ideal thing. And I just saw consulting as another avenue to make money. But the first thing, when you're deciding on what type of consulting you want to do, the first thing you have to figure out is, what are you actually good at? What kind of advice do you give to people? What do people come to you for? If you are a specialist in graphic designing and a lot of people come to you for like logo designs or for like product designs, or if you are skilled in photography and people are coming to you for advice on taking pictures for either influencers or taking pictures for product, that's your niche or that's your strength. And capitalizing or creating a business out of that is how you start your consulting gig. Now, the second step I took was to check out the competition. I had to figure out what were my competitors doing. Who are the people that are in my niche? First of all, you have to even figure out what niche you're in. My niche particularly focused on branding and marketing, especially social media marketing. So I had to find out the people that were in this same niche. I searched for them on Instagram, on Facebook, trying to figure out who were the people that were offering these services, not only in Nigeria, but globally, and to find what their weaknesses are and to fill that gap or to offer those services to my potential customers. So when you're just starting out, you need to just figure out what your competitors are doing and how you can outdo them. Now, the third step was building my portfolio. Now, when I was starting out, I had no experience with clients, so I had to start from somewhere. And the first client I ever had was my mom, and I was helping her do her social media marketing for her supermarket. I'm trying to make sure that I created the awareness so that I could actually see if I was really good at this and what I could improve for my next client. Now, when you're just starting out, a lot of people might say focus on your following. If you have a following on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, you might want to leverage on that following. For me, I was just starting out. I had barely 1,000 subscribers. So there was no way I was going to tell you, my viewers, to, support me in my consulting without actually having references saying that I was good at the job. But eventually I decided to work with my mom, build my portfolio from there, and have her friends and other clients see the work I had done for her, and for her to share her experience working with me, and for her to now pitch my consultancy to potential clients. This is also called reference. Again, I stated this in a previous video on how to find clients. A referral plan is a fantastic way for you to build your clientele. I did that that, and that was how I was able to gain more clients. When you're building your portfolio, there's several ways you can go about it. You can either create a website using Squarespace or Shopify, basically showing the services you're offering, or you can even design a quick portfolio on Canva. Canva offers several templates where you can play around with what kind of colors you want for your brand and how you want your consultancy to look like to your potential clients. Now, the fourth step is actually how long it took me to launch. Now, a lot of people might sit down on an idea and just try to make sure that every nitty-gritty detail is perfect before they eventually launch, but I have understood something about business. If you just start, you get to tweak those nitty-gritty details along the way, but making sure that everything's perfect before actually starting just gives you that anxiety that you do not need when starting a business. As soon as I realized what I wanted to do, I started right off the bat. Now, how I promoted my services. The one thing I absolutely regret not doing is leveraging on my social media following. I honestly believe that for consulting, you have to have the one-on-one experience. I still do, but I honestly feel like I probably should have created the awareness that I had these services and I could have the one-on-one coaching within a limited time or schedule, but just putting the word out there. I only based my marketing on referrals. I based my marketing on people giving me recommendations from their experiences with other customers that had done consultancy for. Like I said, my biggest regret was that I did not leverage on my social media following, which I am trying to change in 2022. If you ask me off the bat, I'll tell you that you should leverage your social media following. If you have a following on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, I honestly feel like you should leverage and inform your audience that you offer these services, showing the portfolio and the work you've done to give them trust that they need to actually reach out to you and get your services. Now, I know I said that there are two types of business models that I absolutely love for consultancy, which is the one-on-one coaching or the webinar or masterclass. But I honestly feel like to each their own. Do what works for you. If you feel like getting maybe $50 per class with like 100 people is what will suffice for you, then fine. Or you feel like having a one-on-one coaching session with one client and making close to $500 to $1,000 is what will suffice for your business, and do what works for you. But what worked for me was the one-on-one coaching calls. I love the personal experience I get with my customers. I love knowing the nitty-gritty details about their businesses and giving them the ultimate best experience for their money's worth. Now, the tools I used when setting up my consultancy were mostly free products. Like Google Meets, I used Google Meets for scheduling calls. I also used Google Calendar to make sure I kept track with all my calls and to make sure that I had a schedule that I followed judiciously. I also use Google Drive to save clients' work and documents so that I don't lose track of their business information. Google Meets, Google Calendar, and Google Drive were exactly what I needed to just start the business. Now, the last and final point is how to determine your rate. I'm sure you're like, I need to figure out what my pricing is. I don't want to be undervalued, as well as I do not want to chase my clients away with my overpriced value. I know everyone thinks that way. But the one thing you need to realize is that you need to get your money's worth. There are two business models, like one-on-one coaching calls and the group or masterclass business model. Now, for the one-on-one coaching calls, the way I broke down my business was that I scheduled 3 types of coaching calls. I had like the 1 or 2 hour coaching call, sitting down with the potential clients and breaking down their businesses. The second plan was a 1-month plan where I would sit down twice a week with my clients and break down their business down to the nitty-gritty stuff and just make sure that I am helping them scale their business. And the last plan was a quarterly plan where I would sit down with the client and guide them through the business process, doing their social media marketing, hiring staff, making sure that everything was in line for their business. Doing all of that, I charge different prices for these plans. The first plan I charge $75. The second plan I charge $150. And then the third plan I charge about $300. For some people are like, that's too small, right? But I know the services I'm offering to my clients. I'm not only about the money, but this is how I base the reason why I started consulting in the first place. It was to help people scale their businesses and take it to the next level. Making money was also a bonus on its own front, but my ultimate satisfaction comes from seeing a client thrive exceedingly well in their business. So it's just not about the money, but that's my preference. It's probably not the same for you. So what you need to figure out is what kind of plan would I do for my one-on-one coaching calls that will get me the ultimate experience that I desire. Now for the masterclass/group call business model, I see a lot of consultants charge between $20 to about $50 to about $100 for master classes, depending on the industry. I've seen some people charging for photography lessons for influencers. I've seen people charging wig classes about $200. The one thing I do note in most of these classes, for the influencer coaching calls, I see that they charge that low amount because there are a lot of people that want to learn about that, but they don't necessarily want to spend that much money to learn how to take proper pictures. So you need to find or place value on the service you are offering. For the wig making class, the influencer that I saw promoting this plan was having a limited slot of about 20 people that were entitled to getting wig stands, to getting wig heads, pins, basically everything you need to start a proper wig business. They were offering that in the masterclass, probably why the money was so high. So you're not going to place an exceedingly high amount of money on a service and not give the ultimate experience for your customers, especially when you are offering to a group of people or a large group of people. My advice, if you're offering to a large group of people on photography lessons, make it a minimal amount of maybe $20 to $50, something that's a bit more affordable for the people that are in your industry, as opposed to like the wig making class that was offering free wig stand, wig dummy head, pins, probably even a free wig or something. This is everything I did when starting off my consulting business. I feel like the only regret I probably have when starting my business was, like I said, I didn't promote my business as much as I should have. But I honestly feel like when you're starting a consulting business right off the bat, start with people that are close to you, like family or friends that you know will give you the chance to show what you're actually capable of, and then just see how it progresses. Use them to build your portfolio, create a website if you have the opportunity to, and just scale your business from there. But yeah, this is everything I did when starting my consulting business. If you have any questions, any comments you'd like to make, leave it in the comment section down below and I'll definitely respond. Until then, please don't forget to subscribe and keep watching. Bye guys.